Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are going to talk about discontinued Chanel beauty products because I love Chanel, obviously, but they have this notorious knack for discontinuing some of our favorite products. And I think that this could be an interesting topic. So before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or a hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. Now, as you know, I have my online beauty consulting service. This is a one-on-one service with me where you get to ask me any beauty questions you have. So maybe you have some old favorites that have been discontinued and you can't quite seem to replace them. Go ahead and book a session today. So the idea for this video came, I was just thinking about Chanel and some of my favorites and, luxury products that are worth the splurge and which products are worth spending your money on. And some of these items that I think are worth spending your money on have been discontinued rudely. And because I have so many of you watching me who are also Chanel lovers, and you probably have some long lost beauty loves that have floated away and are discontinued forever. So let's start with these items here that I hope you recall. This item here was around, I think, a decade ago, and these are the Rouge Allure Extrait Gloss. Not the new Rouge Allure Extrait super skinny lipsticks. These are the glosses. I had some of these still in my collection up until recently, and I threw them out for whatever reason. Well, they were starting to smell a bit funky, so I threw them out. But I do wish I had kept them for today's video, exactly. So these were in the Rouge Allure family, which means it had the click top, and then you would pull out the wand, and it had a really nice doe foot applicator. It was very stiff, so when you would apply the gloss, it almost had a texture of like a liquefied lipstick. The glosses could be very opaque. You could just do like a single layer and just do a wash, or you could build it up. What I would do, I was still working for the brand at this point. I would just go in with a lip liner and just do like a generous coat of this gloss here. And the colors were so pretty. They had some of the nicest, prettiest pinks in this collection here. There were some reds and some darker colors. And I think they would come out with some special holiday colors, if I recall correctly. I don't remember. It's been a while, but they had the prettiest pinks, the prettiest like nudie pinks. And one of my favorites was actually this like coral orange color, because it actually was super pretty. Like in the tube, it looked like a pumpkin orange, but then when I would wear it, it would turn into like a creamsicle coral. And it was so beautiful in the summer with a tan and lots of bronzer. It was so gorgeous. And it's the texture. I haven't really encountered anything like this texture except possibly the Givenchy Rose Perfecto Liquid Lip Balm. This is a liquid lip balm. It's not a gloss, but you can treat it like that. And it's just like a liquefied chapstick, and it's super thick and it doesn't run. And the Rouge Allure Extrait Gloss was like that. They would not run. It wasn't like a liquidy lip gloss that would go everywhere. It just stayed in place, and it gave you like the glossiest, wettest pout, and it was so nice. I'm hoping that now I feel like lip gloss is sort of having a resurgence. Matte liquid lipstick had its time in the sun. So I'm hoping glosses start to become popular again, and I hope that these come back at some point, because Chanel is notorious for discontinuing a product, forgetting about it for a few years, repackaging it, and then coming out with a new product. They do this all the time. If you have shopped the brand for an extended period of time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So fingers crossed that these come out again in the near future, because they were so pretty. Okay, moving on to a product that I'm actually currently wearing on my face. This is the Metal Peach Highlighter. This was a holiday release from a couple of years ago, and this is, it's called Metal Peach. It's the illuminating powder highlighter. This is what it looks like today. It has been very well loved, very well used as well. It had a sort of pattern on the inside. I think it looked like chains. I think that's what it looks like, but obviously I've been digging into it for a few years now, so it's long gone. But this is what it looks like. And the reason I love this one so much, and I'm so sad that it got discontinued, is because, first of all, I'm not even that much of a highlighter girl. Those of you who watch me a lot, you can attest. Like, I like a highlighter, but it's not my most essential makeup step. But there's something about this texture. It's the finish that's beautiful, and it almost gives you like a finish like it's a liquid highlighter. It's so natural. It doesn't feel or look chunky or heavy. It sort of just melts into the skin. It almost feels like this is a cream or some sort of gel highlighter. That's what it looks like. And so sometimes I find that powder highlighters sort of just like sit on top of the skin instead of just like melting and playing along nicely. So this one sort of, it feels really soft still. It doesn't smell. It hasn't turned. I'm still using it because it's still a good product. Like, there's no smell. The color hasn't changed. The texture hasn't changed. So I'm still using it. But it looks wet. It looks wet, but not too much. It's just that perfect balance. And I just think it looks really gorgeous. It gives you that sort of like lit from within glow, but it's subtle. It's not chalky. It looks gorgeous. And I don't know why. I mean, it was a holiday release, so I understand that it was like a one shot, a one and done, but they should bring it back. And I just think that the color is beautiful. This is a shade that I think is flattering on a lot of skin tones. I think if you're much lighter than me, and even if you're much darker than me, you could still wear it. It's sort of champagne, but it's not too pink, it's not too peach. It's just beautiful. And again, it's the finish. It melts into the skin even though it's a powder, which I think is really ideal, because I don't like those super cakey highlighter powders that just like are really blinding and just sort of sit like a stripe on your cheek without really looking very natural, where I feel like this one here is very natural. All right, moving on to something here that is quite niche, and some of you may remember this and some of you may not. But this is one of the stylos aux yeux, so one of the waterproof liners, and this was the shade 919 Érable, which means maple. If I'm not mistaken, this came out in a fall collection, maybe winter, but I think it was a fall collection. This liner was so beautiful. So I have brown eyes, yes, a brown-eyed girl, but when I would wear this liner in the bottom waterline, it looked like I had hazel green eyes. I don't know what it was about this blend of color, but it brought out green in my eyes, which typically have no green in them whatsoever. And it was just so beautiful. I think I still used it at the very beginning of my channel, but it quickly ran out because I went to go repurchase it and it got discontinued. I think it came out in the fall, but it was permanent and then it got discontinued. I don't think it was a one shot, but eventually it went away. And every year, every new release, when there's a new liner coming out, I'm so desperate to see if this eyeliner is ever coming back, because as you can see in the photo, it sort of looks gold but taupe at the same time. It's gold and champagne and taupe with a hint of gray, and just something about that color blend just brought out green, and that is something that I don't often experience. And so I was so excited to wear it and just, look like I had hazel green eyes. It was so fun. I've even tried with different brands, with different companies, and sometimes I do find some beautiful liners that have a bit of shimmer and light to them that are beautiful in the waterline, but nothing can replicate this 919 Érable maple liner. It was so unique. The color was so unique and so special. So fingers crossed that they just, bring this out again in a few years as a brand new color. They'll call it something different, they'll call it something else, but I'll know. So let's hope it comes back. Okay, moving on to some skincare. There was this skincare ensemble set category in the brand, because when we have Chanel skincare, we have Hydra Beauty, which is just like the basic hydration line. We have Le Lift, which is lifting and firming. We have Sublimage, which is like global anti-aging. We have the new #1 collection as well. But there was a separate entity that sort of floated above all of these and could be used with any one of these categories. And this was Le Jour, La Nuit, Le Weekend. These were 3 separate serums that were created to just sort of like resynchronize your skin. They sadly discontinued this set. So Le Jour serum, that was the daytime one. This one here, I think, had a salicylic acid. And this one here was more for refining pores, for skin texture. And so you could use this with whatever skincare regimen you had. Like, you didn't have to change anything up. You could just add it into your routine. And then La Nuit, the nighttime one, this one was, I think that one was my favorite because it had a incense extract. It smelled amazing. The texture was buttery without being greasy or oily. It had hyaluronic acid, so it was this immensely cocooning and hydrating treatment. So you would use this as your serum before bedtime, and then you'd put on your face cream. And it had this regenerative property, so it would just give you like a really beautiful plump looking skin the next morning, which was great. And then Le Weekend, this one here was an exfoliator. This one here you would use only twice a week as the weekend, whatever your weekend was. And this was renewing, regenerating, but it also had some sort of acids in it, very soft, gentle acids that would just eat away the dead skin cell, the debris, anything like that. And so your skin would be smoother and softer, and it was your exfoliating product. So you could just use this twice a week, once a week if you wanted to. And then the rest of the days you would use the daytime and nighttime serums. And so you could buy these as a kit, like as a little trio, or you could buy them separately. At some point, they came out with a separate or a second weekend version that was like a lighter exfoliating product. So if you had more sensitive skin or even drier skin, you could use like the softer weekend. I liked all of these products. I liked all of them. I think the daytime one was the one that I didn't love as much because at the time I didn't have any issues with pores. Now I'm having issues with pores. How exciting is that? But for me, the nighttime serum and the weekend, I loved them so much. I loved those products. And at some point, they just got rid of them. I don't know what happened. Maybe they weren't popular. Maybe they didn't sell, but they haven't really replaced them. I think the nighttime serum was taken over maybe more with like Le Lift. I think they've come out with more regenerative, reparative products there. And the weekend, I mean, they've come out with other exfoliating products, but nothing like the weekend. The weekend is gone, so that was sad. I need to pull up my sleeves here. The last item we're going to talk about is a juggernaut. When I tell you, when this launched, everyone and their dog was buying it. Literally, people were buying backups on backups because of how fabulous this product is. And it truly baffles me that this product is not permanent. I don't know what they're thinking. Truly, I don't know what they're thinking, because this item here is called Les Indispensables, the indispensable. It's called indispensable, and it's discontinued. Make that make sense. This is the Les Beiges 9 Shadow Palette, the beautiful beige packaging with these 9 colors. Did they reinvent the color wheel? Absolutely not. But these colors, they are indispensable. You have your everyday colors. You could live off of this palette. You could use this for work, for 9 to 5, for weekends, for vacations, for a smoky eye. You have everything. It is the most quintessential Chanel client palette. The typical quintessential Chanel client is a little bit more mature, has more mature eyelids, and loves more neutral, everyday colors. This is the palette here. You truly have everything. You have neutral, you have warm, you have cool, you have dark, you have light, you have matte, you have satin. this palette is indispensable because it truly has everything that you could need or want. And when this came out, people were buying backups on backups because they loved it so much. If you're someone who doesn't want to walk around with blue eyeshadow, I like blue eyeshadow, but I understand that is not for everyone. This was the palette for you, and I'm still like in shock about how pretty this is. Like, there's just everything. I cannot believe that this got discontinued. This was technically part of a Les Beiges summer collection, but after they saw the popularity, I'm shocked that they didn't decide to just make it permanent, because they did this with some of the lipsticks. Several years ago, it wasn't common for the Rouge Allure lipsticks to have a separate different logo on top. They started with number 5, and then they did comets, and then they did the lion heads. They just realized after one season that it was extremely popular, so they decided to come out with a new one every year. They did camellias as well. I don't know what they're waiting for. Like, come on, guys. Are they just going to wait a few more years, wait until people sort of forget about this, and then come out with a new neutral 9 shadow palette? I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. They could just change this packaging to like classic black instead of the Les Beiges packaging. But this one here, every now and then I remember that I have it and I'm like, ugh. I would like to use it more on my channel, but I know that some of you, when you see me using discontinued products, you're like, no, where can I buy this? And honestly, I have no idea where you can purchase this now. Maybe on eBay, but like, good luck with that. Hopefully it's a real one. I don't know. But these are my top 5 discontinued heartbreak items from Chanel. There are more that I could talk about, but I'm going to keep it concise. I'm going to keep it to these 5 here. And now I would love to hear from you. I want to know, what are some of your top 5 Chanel discontinued heartbreak items, because there's so much more. I can think of like Cristal Eau de Toilette. I love that perfume. It's long gone. I think it's still available in Europe, but it's not available here. Remember during the holiday season, they would come out with those mini makeup brush kits in like a zip up pouch. Those were amazing. I would love to have that again. So I don't think that this is a tag that has existed. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm starting this tag here, and I'm going to tag all the creators I can think of, because I really am curious, because we all have different tastes. And I just want to know, for those of you who've been purchasing the brand longer than I have, what are your favorites that got discontinued? I'm so curious. It's sort of like a makeup museum moment, you know, like makeup history. It's really fun to just like think of all these things. So anyway, that is today's video. So if you're not subscribed yet, I highly encourage you to do so, because we talk about a lot of luxury beauty, a lot of Chanel as well. Typically newer releases, but sometimes a little blast from the past is fun. And on that note, that's all I have for you guys for today. So thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.